In this video, I'm conducting an interview with Nick Peterson of Save the Gammon. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos, so I can work on that. My book, Backgammon Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. In this video, it's my pleasure to have Nick Peterson of Save the Gammon. Thank you for joining me and welcome.
Alex, thanks for having me, and I'm happy to be here.
My pleasure, my pleasure. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. It's about 18 degrees, but the sun is shining, so it feels good.
Where are you joining us from?
I am just south of Buffalo, New York.
Oh, okay. So it's cold out there.
A little bit, yeah.
Um,
It's actually been a pretty mild winter. I've only
that's
had to plow the driveway twice, so.
okay. That's mild for you. I'm in Southern California, and I get cold when it gets less than 70. Okay, wonderful. I'm happy to have you. We're going to talk a lot about your doubling cubes because that's what you're known for. I'd like to start with a little background biographical information. Where are you from originally?
Sorry about that. Born and raised in Buffalo, New York, and I've kind of just um, lived around the area. My wife is from about an hour away from Buffalo, so got to know her family there, and just kind of settled around the Western New York area throughout the life.
It's good they call it upstate New York, right?
Yeah, there's obviously New York City, which is what everybody thinks of, and then upstate is kind of like Albany, Eastern New York, and then we get lumped in with upstate, but we're Western New York, right by Lake Erie.
Right. Geographically, you are, but I know some people they call anything that's not in New York City upstate New York.
Yeah. New York could be sectioned into about 4 or 5 different regions.
Yeah, yeah. And you said you're married. You have kids yourself?
Yeah, yeah, married. We just celebrated 20 years last July, and I have
Congratulations.
thank you. And then I have a 7-year-old daughter. She's
Good for
pretty
you. Good for you. I have an 8-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter, so it's a lot of work.
You got them rolling dice yet?
My son knows how to play, and my daughter likes to roll the dice through the baffle box and move the checkers around, and she says double. So it's fun. What about your daughter? Does she play?
She's got exposure. She knows, I go out to the club and play, and I obviously make cubes and have backgammon friends, and I got tons of boards, and it's all over the house. But right now she's into chess.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, she's into chess and trouble, and we're into board games right now.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And then what kind of work do you do?
My day job, I work at the University of Buffalo. I'm the encompassing term is web designer, but I'm a digital product owner and user experience designer.
So you have experience with that kind of stuff. Great, great. And how'd you get into backgammon originally yourself?
Oh, well, growing up, my mom and I, we'd play checkers at the kitchen table, and there was always that other game on the other side of the board with the long points, and what the heck is this? So one day, it had the instructions printed right on the board there, so we set it up and learned how to play, and we played it enough to understand that there were it wasn't just whoever gets them off first, that there was priming games and there was back games, and you experienced kind of the breadth of what the game offers and just how well balanced it is. And I just I fell in love with it as a kid, and just played just always played. Any friend that I could teach it to, I would. And then majority of it was online because had a hard time finding players. I would periodically check the Buffalo area for like meetups and clubs, and there was nothing until probably about 5 years ago. Um, Suddenly, a Buffalo backgammon club popped up, and I signed up and I went and met the guy. And where I live, it's about 45 minutes south of Buffalo. So, and my work is up in Buffalo, so I got like a 45-minute commute pre-COVID. And I drove up there and met him, and we had a lot of common interests, and turns out he lives down in the southern tier with me. He just has to drive up there because that's where the population is. So we became really close friends, and uh, we'll get into more of that later. But that's how I got into backgammon, and that's how I've been playing it my whole life, and now I play with the group up here in Buffalo.
That's great. It's I'm seeing a lot of new groups. How did they first start and get the word out?
Well, the guy who runs it, his name's Dan Dumas. He's a pretty strong player, in my opinion, and he again pre-COVID, he was touring the whole Northeast and stuff like that, doing like the Connecticut and Boston and just tournaments all over the place, and he wanted to spread the love of the game, meet some other stronger players in Buffalo, and just kind of spread the word. So he started the club, and that's how I found him. I'm sorry. Did that
Was
answer
it
your
was
question?
it like did he have a website or did he do a
No, it was on meetup.com.
meetup?
He's actually completely anti-technology, so the fact that he is pretty amazing.
Yeah, Meetup I heard is a good one to find some people, and I'm seeing a lot of people use like social media, especially Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of clubs on like Instagram and stuff like that. Like Eric's involved with like a lot of the San Diego clubs and like the Bozeman, Montana and stuff like that. Yeah, they're popping up all over the place. It's crazy to see kind of the backgammon revolution.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And
fantastic.
and a lot of obviously a lot of companies and brands doing a great job. I think Galaxy, does an awesome job of getting in, the way they're taking over tournaments, and just everything that Galaxy does is pretty good. I won't say everything. Everybody makes mistakes, but they do a really great job of keeping it fresh
Yeah,
and
I know
in.
Mark. He's really good and does a lot of work. Is that a Backgammon Galaxy t-shirt?
It is, yeah, the cubing of Adam.
Oh, really? Is that
Yeah,
like one of your cubes? It looks similar.
it does look similar. I don't know if it was inspired, but I can't help but think that it looks like some of my earlier cubes. But who knows?
I saw Backgammon Galaxy recently added some new cubes on their website. Those are really beautiful. Have you seen those?
I believe I have. They first start like maybe a year or so ago. They came out with like the Earth, Moon, and Neptune ones, and
Right?
I did a review on my YouTube is very small. I didn't really promote it, but I did a review of those on there, and those are pretty great. And then yeah, recently I saw they had like it was, I think I saw it on Instagram. They had like a one of their boards, and there was like a whole matrix of like different colors and whatnot. And yeah, that's pretty cool. I'd be interested to see if they're kind of mass producing those or kind of one off. There was a while ago they contacted me to see if I would do like a real short run, but I unfortunately I never followed through on it. So
It's hard when you have a job and things like that.
yeah,
So you're best known for it's called Save the Gammon, right?
yeah.
And you focus on uh exclusively doubling cubes, or do you do other accessories?
Well, the way that it started, yes, to answer your question, I mainly do doubling cubes. I've dabbled in checkers. What I wanted to do was, again, pre-COVID, I wanted to make boards. I just thought, hey man, it would be really great to make boards. And this was before I met Dan Dumas, and my understanding of backgammon was just my experience. I didn't really know who any star players were, or even really who board manufacturers were. I was shopping on Gammon Village, and I spent $100 on a Silverman board, which I love. Silverman are great boards, but to me that was like the peak of luxury. And then I met Dan, the guy who runs the thing, and he's a collector. He's got a board of every brand, and I got to experience the breadth of all the luxury and stuff like that. And I was like, "Hey, man, I want to make some boards." And he's like, "Why?" He's like, "Everybody's doing it, or not everybody's doing it, but so much has been done. There's FTH and Gammoner and Chris Lloyd and just everybody. And it's either going to be reinventing a Taki or a Mustafa, or redoing a Chris Lloyd cork board or a felt. It's like he's like, it's a pretty saturated market. Come to find out that there's plenty of room because people like Theo or Teo boards. I'm not sure if it's Teo or Theo. I think he's in Southern America somewhere, but Theo boards, he kind of ended up doing what I imagined myself doing, was making the boards from hand, making every part, the checkers, the cubes, the board. That's where I started, but Dan kind of talked me out of it, and then through just fooling around and stuff like that, I ended up goofing around and pouring some resin, trying to make some checkers and whatnot. And I took one of the standard cubes and made a mold of it and kind of mixed some colors together and brought it to him. I said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And he said, "Hey, that's an idea. No one's really making custom cubes." And then it kind of just went from there. So
Yeah.
I've dabbled in checkers. I've made one or two boards, but primarily it's doubling cubes.
So you started making doubling cubes. Do you have a background in making those kinds of things?
I'm a maker designer by nature. It's one of the things I like to do. I like to fiddle with things. I like to just make whatever, for a while. One of my other one of my other passions and hobbies is martial arts and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So I had like a vinyl cutter and a heat press, and I was decorating these making t-shirts and decorating the uniforms and all that type of stuff. I just like making stuff. So yeah, print. I'm also I went to school for graphic design and communication design, so I was a print designer for the first half of my career, and then transitioned to web. So very hands-on in making physical things. So it lent itself to making cubes.
Yeah, and when you started, you had a pretty good demand, right?
Yeah, it had a really good response, and I got at first I had like a batch of cubes that I had made, and I put them up on the internet, and on my website and on eBay and stuff like that, and they sold out pretty quick. And I got a lot of requests say, "Hey, when are you going to make more? Can you make this custom one for me? Can you match this board here? Can you match these checkers?" And the response, I was happy to have the response, but it got overwhelming quick. I'm just one person, and I tend to be a touch of a perfectionist. So like, trying to trying to make the cubes as luxurious and perfect as I could, because I wanted to do the product justice, and then trying to take really nice pictures of it and put it on the web and promote it and respond to everybody's communications and stuff like that. It was having at the time a 2 and 3 year old running around wanting to play and work a 9 to 5 job, and it just got overwhelming. So I really do my best to try to get back to everybody who responds and try to meet their requests as best I can, but I'm only one man.
Yeah. How long ago did you start doing this?
um Actually, my first April 19th, 2020 was the first time I poured resin. So it was,
Oh, so like right during COVID, you were starting to get into it.
yeah, it was definitely like a pandemic project. I mean,
So
I had the idea, but like the timing was just perfect.
right,
uh
because a lot of people were home and you had time.
yeah.
Uh, so great, you've been doing it for a few years. I wanted to look at your website, so I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here.
Mhm.
So here it is. Are you able to see that now?
I am.
So this is Save the Gammon. So we can go through it. Modern twist on the classical cube look and feel. So these are some of the cubes here. Um, should we look at the gallery? Is that the best?
We can. This is as a web designer by trade, this is pretty out of date, so that's okay.
Oh, but that's
It's okay.
okay.
It's no problem. It's a good representation, but
So you have all these different colors, and I feel like really need to kind of zoom in, right? You can
sure,
you
go
can.
ahead. Yeah.
So I'll just kind of like flip through these,
Mhm.
and maybe you can tell us a little bit about like these different. They're really beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you kindly. So yeah, so kind of what we're seeing. Step back one for just to that blue one on the playing card. This is I try to here I try to show kind of the mirror or glassy finish that I achieve.
Right.
Just kind of show some details. And this font here, this is one that I hand drew myself, and put on the cubes. I've also recreated. Yeah, you can flip through. I'll kind of talk through it as you see here. Yeah, this is another font that I hand drew. It was a popular one. Um,
So you make the molds and then you engrave that
uh,
in, or what do you do?
yeah. No, I kind of do a batch of like we can walk through here, and then I'll kind of show you the process. But I kind of make like a long block, and then I chop them up and then refine them and carve them individually. So
Huh?
I engrave the numbers in each cube.
Oh, okay. Manually.
Yeah, it would cut a lot of the steps out of the process if I were to make a mold and then just do it, but then I couldn't achieve the swirls and the colors in the way that I do. So I got
Ah,
rid of that. And again, to give kind of a nod to like the classic Bakelite, I researched I figured this all out myself, the whole process. I kind of figured it out myself, but then, well, actually that's through research. I did some deep dives on like Chris Lloyd's site and stuff like that, and studied some of the older backgammon Bakelite processes, and through my own kind of stumblings and findings, I kind of stumbled on the process that they used back in the day. So I like to kind of stay true to the traditional ways, but again with a modern twist.
this is beautiful. I love the swirls. They're unique.
Yeah, and each one is different. I've done some studying. This is kind of a classic remake of an old cube.
Yeah,
I also recreated the classic Bakelite font that you see a lot. That's what this is here.
right.
That's probably my most popular one. Yeah, some high stakes cubes, and
Yeah.
that one right there. That one right there was the first one I ever sold, and I sold it to Eric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's got that one. It's on one of his boards.
Yeah, I think that's a good
Eric
connection for
Schmidt
you
for
because you guys make the board. He redoes the boards and you
mhm.
can help out with the cubes.
Yeah. Yeah,
So go ahead.
no, nothing. Just trying different styles and different colors, and just seeing what hits. I unfortunately I gave them names early on, and people were like, "I want to smoke." I'm like, I don't know if I could give you.
This one, wow.
Yeah, that is a one of a kind. That is for one of my buddies at the Backgammon Club. He's big into Art Deco type stuff, and yeah, I worked that one out for him. And the details they show here, but one of the things that I really like is that I segmented each of the circles. So like the two, you can see it's kind of divided in half, and then the 16 is kind of divided in 16. It's a subtle thing, but it was just a little subtle detail.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
Here, there's 16 of
yeah,
them. Wow, wow. Nice.
yeah, I've
So
had
this
some.
is a lot more work, right?
Oh yeah, it was a yeah, that was a lot of work.
That's huge, yeah.
But
But it's beautiful.
yeah,
So when you make these, you make a batch of them, right?
it depends on the size. Like usually if I do something like a the larger ones, like a 2-inch cube, that's usually like a single. But like anything smaller, I have like these 12-inch tall molds. So I'll mix up enough resin to fill this 12-inch mold, and then I'll chop them up. And yeah, obviously depending on the size of the cube, I get 4 to 9 cubes depending on how big the cube is.
So you can make smaller ones that are like chouette size, like 1 inch or something like this.
Yeah, yeah, 1 inch all the way up to 2 inch, and basically all the standard sizes in between there. Yeah, the chouettes I do are like 1 1/8. I mean,
And
I could do them any size, but
you
the
can do
chouettes,
whatever you want. So how long does it take to make like a batch of them from start to finish? I mean, there are
for
different steps, right? So tell us about that.
so to make like so yeah, like you see like the chouettes there, like the four, yeah, like kind of those there. So actually, if I could share a screen, I can kind of show the physical process of it, and that's including chouettes here. So if you don't mind
Yeah.
here, let me share my screen. Let's grab this one here. So here's kind of the process.
Oh,
So here I'll kind of you can see the screen all right.
yes, sir.
All right, so basically to get kind of the swirly look in a cube, you got to mix a lighter solid with kind of a darker transparent or a clear one, and then you kind of mix them together. And here's some of my equipment. There's a temperature, infrared temperature gun. So when the resin reaches a certain temperature, that's when you know it's time to pour it, and they mix just right. And I got my timer there to make sure I'm on time.
Oh. So you have to
And
heat it.
what's that?
You heat it up.
Well, the chemical reaction of the resin heats it.
Oh, okay.
Um, so then I take that resin and I pour it into these metal aluminum molds that I have, and then I put them into a pressure pot, which you fill it with you fill it with compressed air, and it basically makes sure that there's no bubbles, that the cubes are bubble free. And then I press them out of those 12-inch molds, and they look something like this. And then this is, again, this is making chouettes. I guess I can give you a time frame here. So it takes me about an hour to mix up the resin, to make sure that the colors are right. It takes about 15 minutes for it to get to the right temperature. You pour it in, you swirl it, and you put it in the pressure pot, and then you clean up. It takes about an hour to mix the resin. Then it takes them 4 hours to cure. Basically, you're just waiting about 4 hours, and then you press them out of the molds, chop them up on like a miter saw is what I use to do that, with some stops so that they're all the same size. And they come out here pretty rough. You can kind of see the saw marks and stuff like that. And then this is a tool that this is my thickness sander. It's a drill press that I've made a disc sander for, and I have hurt myself so many times on this thing, and it breaks so often that it's another stumbling block in the process. It's this kind of custom tool that I made. But here's just a collection of dust that happens after I'm removing the saw marks and making the cubes perfectly square and perfectly the same size, because that matters down the road during the process. If they're not square, or if they're not the same size, then there becomes trouble when I engrave them. So yeah, this tool here, sometimes I'll grab a cube and shoot it off the other side and skin a knuckle or something like that. But so yeah, this is what it looks like when it comes off that. It's perfectly square, or I have a tolerance, but it's, for all intents and purposes, perfectly square, and the same dimensions on all sides. And then I do some hand sanding to remove those marks, and I'll soften the corners there just to kind of speed up the process. And then I throw it into a tumbler, like a rock tumbler, which I did a lot of research on these, and they can be, there's cheaper models and there's more expensive models. What I ended up doing, a buddy of mine that I hang out with in the neighborhood, he's a pretty handy guy as well, and he likes to make stuff. So we 3D printed these barrels and then got some motors and put it together. And we kind of made our own tumbler for it, and it works pretty good. But when it comes out of the tumbler, it's nice and smooth like this. It's got the nice round edges and all
Oh,
that.
that's what it does.
Yeah, but they're in the tumbler for about 3 days.
Wow.
This look. And then here's kind of the first three stages, cutting up at the top, that's cutting them off the saw, and you can kind of see the saw marks and kind of the different shape and size. Then the middle row is that sanding and thickness sanding, and you can see they're pretty uniform. And then when they come out of the tumbler, they're nice and soft and round. And then this is, hopefully the video is not too choppy on the screen share, but this is my little CNC machine that does the engraving. And usually I do it one cube at a time, because if there is any variation in the size, then all of a sudden the numbers aren't centered, and if they're different thicknesses, they're not carved at the same depth. So it's just kind of a again, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and kind of trying to streamline the process. When there's variation and things aren't coming out uniform, it might speed it up to do 4 at a time, but sometimes it slows it down. So I try to have uniformity. But yeah, this is kind of the process of carving the cubes. This is the same machine, but it's a different bit and a different font. Some of the bigger, thicker graphics, they require this kind of thin bit, and rather, in this last video, you saw like it just kind of did one pass, it kind of just carved out the circle and it was done. I prefer that. We call those monoline, because it's just one line to draw the shape. And that, here you see it takes maybe, 10 to 15 seconds per face to carve, whereas this other one, it has to carve out the whole shape like one at a time. And this can take like, actually I just did some cubes for Eric where it took about 15 minutes per side. So, it takes an hour and a half just to carve one cube, and it adds up. The time starts adding up. Here's a whole set of chouettes that have been carved. That was probably a weekend's worth of carving. And then I have different methods of, sorry, it's 4 o'clock here and the sun's starting to come in my window and cause a glare. I apologize for that. Let me see if I can turn you a little. There we go. So then, then I'll paint the cubes. I have different methods of that. I have some paint markers that I like pretty well. Sometimes I have these paint syringes where I'll just kind of fill it with paint that I'll mix up myself, and then kind of fill it with a syringe. And you can see there's kind of some excess on there. So then I'll wipe it off and hand polish them. and then they look pretty good. Then you just you got a full set of chouettes, and you pack them up and sell them. But overall, depending on the design of the cube, of hands-on work, depending on the design, is probably like 4 to 8 hours per cube, plus all the waiting for it to tumble and cure and paint to dry and stuff like that. So like it gets fairly intense, in batching them. If I can do a batch of like chouettes or something like that, it kind of helps because I can sand them all at once, I can cut them all at once, I can carve them all at once, and that kind of helps streamline the process. But it takes some time. It takes a little bit of time.
It looks like it does. There's a lot of work involved. I wasn't aware of all the things that are involved, but I can see there is a lot. It takes a lot of time and it's a lot of work. But the final product is really beautiful.
Yeah, thanks very much. I kind of a collection here of, very this was actually one order, but it kind of shows a range of the colors and stuff like that. And this is a rotating bin of stock. Someone will want like a red cube, and I don't have any red cubes, so I make a whole tube of them and I cut them up, and then now I just have red stock to pick from. But everybody wants the ones that have like the big swirls on the bottom, and really there's only one cube per batch that really has this kind of like thing. So I get stuck with like all the middle cubes that like nobody wants. So it's all right. It's all right. It happens.
I know there
Um,
are a lot of people that like different boards, and there are people I've seen that collect the cubes, checkers, all sorts of things. I think there's a relatively big market. If you go to the backgammon community, people really like this stuff.
yeah. I was on Facebook and Instagram for a while, and I got a lot of attention. But like I said, it started to get overwhelming, and I started, it got so much that I was disappointing more people than I was satisfying. So I had to kind of temper my approach to it. Um,
I feel
I
like
kind of
yeah, a lot of people would like customization.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I can see that's time consuming, but if you just make like standard ones and have them available, that might be an easier way to kind of get back into it. You stopped for a little while, is that correct?
Well, I always meant to do kind of general inventory, and I get a lot of the requests I get, or the outreaches I get, are like, hey, do you have, you just got any cubes standing by? And a lot of the times the answer is no, because I got, after the initial batch sold, um, I got into doing a lot of custom orders, and that took up a lot of time. And sometimes I have to shut down, taking orders so that I can focus on making finishing orders and then making some of the inventory. But yeah, no, it's enjoyable, and I really hope to keep making these little batches and satisfying as many people as I'm able to.
Yeah, even some of the board makers might like it.
Yeah, I've worked with a couple of them. Eric Schmidt of Schmidt Brothers Backgammon is my main guy, and he always comes up with crazy stuff. There was another guy who I won't get into it's a longer story, but he ended up reaching out to the leader of the Backgammon group and found me. Um, but he was making some nice boards that he was trying to sell for a luxury price and wanted some nice cubes. So I've sent a number to him. Yeah, yeah. I've made some, not necessarily for Bob Zavarall, but some folks who were having some boards made by Bob and FTH and stuff like that. They've reached out to have cubes made to match those type of boards and things like that. So it's cool. It's really
Bob Zabrol is a good friend of mine, and he makes some really beautiful boards, and these types of accessories would really, look really nice on that.
Yeah, I talked to him briefly, very briefly, as I was working on one of these projects, and he said, "Oh, that's cool," and that was really about all I had heard from him. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
But on his boards, I don't know if you've seen on his boards, there's like a double rack, a double tray almost, where you set the checkers, one row for the checkers, and another row you can put the cubes in, and these would probably fit perfectly.
Yeah, I actually I wish I had a picture of the board that I made, because these actually I stopped the screen share, but the the white or the ivory chouettes that I was showing you, they accompanied an inch and a half, and they were actually for a board like that, and they fit in that extra rack of cubes, or the extra rack for cubes, and it fit really nice. wish I had the final pictures. They're on Facebook somewhere.
Yeah. I have your Instagram up here. I think we could take a look at it because you have
Yeah,
you have
there's
a
some
few
more
different
interesting
things.
stuff on there.
Yeah, let me pull that up here. So here's the Instagram. Are you able to see that now?
I am able to see that.
These are really beautiful, like the bee, different
Yeah,
designs.
those top three were for the same, actually for the same customer, a guy in France, and those are for the first one was a gift for his girlfriend, and then the second two, the blue and kind of the aqua one, was their trophies for the different tournaments he has. A Hector Sachs backgammon tournament, and then I don't speak French for the
Oh,
champagne. No, Vidal. I don't really know what that is.
Vidot means doubling cube in French.
Does it?
I learned that from my friend James McNaughton, who does the
Oh,
Paris Vidot YouTube site, and he told me what that means.
yeah, James McNaughton. He reached out to me. I hope I satisfied his order.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure. So let's see, you have some other stuff on here too.
Yeah, yeah. There's some of Eric's boards in the background there that I took the shots on.
Nice, nice. How did you meet Eric?
Well, like I say, I put a cube on eBay and he bought it, and then he reached out to me on Instagram and said, "Hey, I make boards. Do you want to work together?" Yeah, that was a cool one.
Yeah, this is different because the numbers are small and in the corner.
Yeah, that was kind of a, I went through this. Well, actually, there was one. Let's see if it's on there. I started, scroll down just a little bit. Yeah, this one right here, this one with the 64 in the corner. That is my absolute favorite cube ever. It was a total accident. Like, I was I was doing a pour, and I had poured too much. I was trying to do like a blue moon recreation with kind of like the dark blue and the yellow, and I had poured too much, so I had an extra mold sitting around, and I just poured the remnants in this mold, and this is how it came out, with just kind of like the yellow on top and then the dark blue on the bottom. And just the way it worked out, like I had to put the 64 like that to do it, and I put it on eBay, and it sold for more than I expected. Um, and yeah, that was just my favorite one. So kind of doing the small numbers in the corner kind of started with that. But yeah, I've done, kind of Bakelite rehabs. Yeah, there's a good picture in the middle there. Go up one with all the different sizes. That kind of showcases all the different sizes that I do or can do, all the way from 1 inch all the way up to 2 inch. Some of them are not standard sizes in that photo, but yeah, that's how it goes.
Because I see Jeff Proctor of Gammon boards, and their cubes are really nice too. They probably do something similar.
Yeah, but being doing this, I kind of keep temperature on who else is kind of making cubes, and I've seen some people kind of come and go, and I think the guy that works for him, I think his name is like Oliver Juice or something like that. I don't know. I think he's German or something, some sort of European. I'm not sure. I'm not pronouncing his name correctly, but he makes he had posted some pretty interesting resin pours that he had done. And yeah, there's Dan there, the guy. We had that was our COVID this little picnic here. This was our Buffalo backgammon. This was during COVID, and it was a tense period. People weren't sure what to make of it. But yeah, we had a little a barbecue and stuff like that. And this was actually where the first set of my Chouettes premiered. But yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah. Well, great. I know a lot of people enjoy backgammon, and part of it is the aesthetic of it. You have the different colors, the different sizes, the different uh, parts, like some of them are wood boards, leather boards, and then you have different dice, checkers, accessories, cups, and doubling cubes. People really like that. I think that increases the enjoyment. A lot of people like that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that I would personally like some of those because I have some Chouette cubes myself, but these are really beautiful. And I know a lot of people that would like cubes of different colors and shapes and sizes and things like that. So this is fantastic. So you said you're not taking orders right now, right?
No, not at the moment. I'm trying to sort through, like I say, Eric keeps me busy enough with his crazy projects. He comes up with some crazy stuff. He's got me trying to carve I don't mean to ruin any of his stuff. He's got me trying to carve like billiard balls and stuff like that, like cubes. He's like cutting down billiard balls into cubes to try and do some interesting stuff. And I've got some other stuff I could share if we want, but he just sources the craziest Bakelite that I've ever seen. He's got these ones that look like someone tried to melt them. They're all like blistered and scratched up, and we did this like Western theme on them. They came out really cool. And then yeah, he just sent me this like this really big 2-inch thing, and then this other one here. It's like he got it, and then it like started cracking. So I don't know, we're gonna try and work with the cracks and see what we can kind of do there. But he's always got me to like trying to do interesting stuff. And then just some other collectors and enthusiasts that are trying to match, like they've got like these old Bakelite cups and stuff like that, and they're trying to match some cubes to some sets and stuff like that. So I've got a few projects on the plate right now, and once those kind of clear, I'm hoping to make it through. I showed you those trays full of raw stock. I want to make it through some of those, and then I'll probably open up to some orders. To keep it sane, I'll probably do like one a month, see how it goes from there. If I can fit more in, I'll do more. But
I
you know,
think if you do just some basic ones like red ones, blue ones, whatever, all the same size, you'll sell out pretty quickly, I believe.
yeah, that was the case with the first two batches I did. And then people were like, I really like this one, but can you make it like this? And then it got into the custom or the not even really. I mean, I've done some interesting graphics and designs on them, but like really it's just like, can you take this same font but make it this size and this color? And it's led to me having trays of raw stock. So
Yeah,
just
you
get
have to have some standards first and then kind of go from there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
once you do start taking orders, what's the best way for people to contact you?
I have so in I say my site is a bit out of date, and it's a bit rough. I'm a user experience and web designer by trade, but my site lacks a lot of that refinement. But I had an order form where you could pick your font and your
Here,
color and your size and all that type of stuff.
we'll go on it here.
I actually I hid it because
Oh, you hit
I
it.
wasn't
Oh,
taking orders. But
the
they're on the
contact.
contact tab there. That's the best way to get in touch with me is there's an email form here. And when I'm taking orders, I'll put the other form up so you can kind of like
Okay,
kind of give me you can give me a sense of what you're looking for. What size, what color. You can send me a picture of your board or your checkers or your favorite flower or whatever you're trying to match, and we can go from there.
that's
So
great.
yeah, the website's a good place. I'll check the email, pretty much daily. You can send me messages on Instagram, but yeah, Instagram and email are the best ways.
And the pricing is here, right? These are the pricings.
That was about it from 2022, and those are kind of the standard prices, kind of if I for the general inventory.
Oh,
Um,
good. That's good to know. Oh,
and
and
then
this is what it says, how they're made. This is what you were going through.
yeah, I guess I could put some pictures on there to to make it a little more exciting.
Yeah, the pictures that you showed. So you have the on eBay, on the shop. Why is your inventory always sold out? Kind of talked about that. And
Yeah,
what's the let's see, the Instagram handle is
it should be just
yeah,
save game
save the gammon.
or
Okay.
save the dot gammon. Yeah, that name. I was trying to find
Yeah.
some catchy
Right,
backgammon
right.
thing. I would if I was to do it again, I would probably just do like N Gammon or something like that. Nick Gammon.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's already out there and it's cool.
yeah.
Actually, what I wanted was Take Point because it was cube related, but there's
Oh,
already
yeah.
but Take Point already does scoreboards. So
Scoreboards. Look at that.
yeah, that I had used some UV resin to cure it, so it kind of yeah, it was the same cube.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that was another eBay one. That was a cool one. Yeah, so Eric had sent me some like some Bakelite that was all foggy, and then when you
Wow.
clean it up, it got to be crystal clear. You got to be careful with the Bakelite rehabs though, because the main one of the main attractions in one of my I'm sorry, the sun just keeps moving here and on the eastern side of the sorry, I'm sorry for the glare.
That's
um,
okay.
yeah, one of the challenges with Bakelite is that one of the major draws to it is the patina that it gets over the years, and trying to polish them up or rework them. You got to be careful not to remove the patina. So, and that's actually what gives them the unique coloring, kind of that yellowed look. Like if you look at an old blue moon is actually blue and white, but when it gets the patina, it kind of turns that darker blue and green, yellow kind of look. I need to
So
install
what is, yeah, that's okay. What is patina?
patina. It's kind of, so I'm not sure how familiar you are with Bakelite, but it's basically this old plastic which they don't make anymore because it has a lot of formaldehyde and asbestos in it. So there's a lot of uh, cancerous chemicals in it. But as it ages, just as it ages, the plastic yellows. Plus, also, kind of the oils from hands and stuff like that. So the plastic just kind of yellows naturally, and it's it's on the outside of the cube. It's not like it's like mixed in with the resin. Like I've tried mixing yellow in with colors, and really all it does is just kind of mutes the colors. It doesn't achieve. So if I were to take like a blue and white cube and then like dip it in like translucent yellow dye or whatever, that might to start to achieve it. But I haven't figured out a good way to do it so that it really mimics the old Bakelite look. But the patina is everything.
Well, that's great. It looks like you have some really beautiful cubes.
Thank
And
you.
I think a lot of people would enjoy that very much. It's been great learning about it and talking to you and seeing so many of the different cubes, the colors, sizes, and everything. You have any other final comments or anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, not really. Always stuff to share, but I think we've pretty much covered it. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to talk to you and meet you and share interests. And I hope to keep doing this and just keep meeting people and matching boards and putting some really interesting stuff out there.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you. I wish you continued success. Having this channel has given me the opportunity to meet people from all over the country and all over the world, like yourself. I have met Eric Schmidt in person because he lives nearby, and my hope is always to be able to. Oh, that's his board. Yeah,
Yeah.
my hope. Go ahead and say something so we can see.
Oh yeah, here's a little. I found this little mini chrysaloid on Etsy, and it was destroyed. And I sent it to Eric, and he did a great job on it.
Yeah, he does a fantastic job. So he lives nearby me. So I've met him in person, but it's my hope to hopefully one day meet you in person as well. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description to your website and to your Instagram so people can look on it and hopefully they'll start contacting you with inquiries. And we'll go ahead and conclude. Thank you again very much to Nick Peterson of Save the Gammon, Backgammon Doubling Cubes. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. Again, my book, Backgammon Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. I look forward to seeing everyone in future videos. And until then, keep rolling your dice.